Welcome to the Week 11 IDP Guys Start Sit Show. I'm your host, Grant, and I'm joined by Will and Logan. We'll go ahead and start off with some introductions. Will, will you go ahead and just tell us about yourself?
Hey, everybody. I'm Will at FF Skinny Chef on Twitter. In the real world, as my name says, I'm actually an executive chef at a hospital here in Florida. And then I do this on the side. So,
what articles are you writing for IDP Guys?
in season, I do the IDP injury report, and then off season, I just try to throw up something that I think has value for people.
Awesome, Logan. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hey, I'm Logan. Sports Talk Smart on Twitter. I do the rankings here for IDP Guys weekly during the seasons, what I put most time into, and then I've also got year-round rest of season rankings, dynasty rankings, stuff like that. So,
awesome. If you have any questions about your start sit today, throw your questions in the comments below, and we'll answer them. But so Cam Newton's starting this week for the Carolina Panthers. How is that going to help their offense? Is that going to hurt CMC in the red zone? Is that going to help DJ Moore? What is your guys' take on that?
Go ahead, Logan.
Yeah, I think it can't be much worse than Sam Darnold, to be honest. It'll probably hurt McCaffrey in the red zone a little bit. I'm sure it'll take a few touchdowns away, but he's been still a top 3 option with one touchdown on the season. So Cam Newton likes to throw to him too. So I don't see much of a change for him, but I think Cam Newton becomes somewhat startable with his rushing ability in a position where Sam Darnold was looking like a desperation last gasp play. So not too much all around.
Yeah, I agree. I think it helps everybody there. We saw in the beginning of the season what Darnold could do when he was doing well, over 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns. So that's probably the upside of having Cam there, is that'll be a little more consistent again. I don't think it hurts CMC in the red zone, because they're not getting there very much now. And if Cam can improve them, then they're going to have more chances. So I think it'll probably balance out a little bit where Cam will take away opportunities, but overall they'll have more chances in the red zone. So I don't think it's really going to hurt him.
So another quarterback is starting, a backup quarterback in Detroit. How's this affecting Deandre Swift?
I think it kills him, honestly, because Boyle cannot throw the ball from everything that we've seen. So there's no reason to have guys back. You can almost just stack the box, and I don't see how Swift has value this week.
Yeah, I kind of would think it goes down a little bit for sure, but interestingly, he got 33 carries last week, so I think he'll still get his volume, and it kind of takes away from his ceiling. Like Will said, they don't have to protect the pass as much, but they haven't really had to a ton anyways. But yeah, Swift might hurt his ceiling a little bit, but I think he's still going to get enough volume to be a play for sure. I'm more curious of how it'll affect Hawkinson if for some reason Boyle can find him when Goff couldn't seem to find him. I know he's probably being just shadowed like crazy because he's really the only option they've got. So yeah, I've got Hawkinson in a few leagues, so I'm really hoping that Boyle can for some reason pull the backup quarterback likes to throw the tight end narrative off. So that's what I'm more looking for today there.
And then in Arizona, Kyler's still a game time decision. If he doesn't go, are you staying away from their offense after last week's performance?
Yeah, probably everybody but James Conner, unless you need to play maybe Kirk or AJ Green as like a wide receiver 4, like deep flex play. But James Conner is probably a play either way.
Is it Keenum this week, or is he out too?
Baker's playing.
Oh wait.
Are you talking Colt McCoy?
You mean Colt McCoy?
Colt McCoy, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be Colt McCoy. If I don't think he has any type of injury behind Kirk.
Well, I know he had a pectoral last week, right?
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, he came out. Didn't he?
I don't know. Let me look at our handy dandy offensive injury report article.
But yeah, I'm staying away from pretty much everyone except Connor. And play Connor for sure. But yeah, receiver wise, they're dart throws.
Colt McCoy is questionable with a chest injury.
Who's behind him?
Garbage. Tim Boyle, basically.
Yeah.
If Colt doesn't go, I'm with you. I'm avoiding everybody.
Yep.
From Schefter on Twitter, he's been saying it's leaning towards Colt McCoy. So it sounds like he's been able to go this week, and he will get the start as long as Kyler is not playing.
Okay.
So
then, yeah,
that'd be definitely something to watch in Arizona.
I guess go ahead. I was gonna say if you have a decent floor option, I would start that over like a Christian Kirk or somebody. But if you're really struggling, I'd throw him out there as a desperation play. If it's Colt.
All right, Jason Goodell is asking, can you trust Cameron Bynum at cornerback, or would you pivot to some other options now that Harrison Smith is back?
I think Harrison Smith was back last week, and Bynum still had a sack. Again, interception the week before. Yeah, he still had a sack last week and still had 6 tackles. So, especially if it's a cornerback-specific position, I'm definitely okay with playing Bynum there still. If it's a DB position, you might have other options. If I've got Bynum at I've got him in my 30s, so he's a cornerback 3. Or a defensive back 3, which would make him probably a high cornerback option.
Awesome. If you have any other questions, throw them down in the comments. We'll love to answer these for you guys before the games start at 1 o'clock Eastern. But we also heard that Marquise Brown's out, so are we expecting Bateman to have a huge day?
Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, I mean he's going to get the targets, so I think it might help Mark Andrews a little more than we realize, but I think Bateman should be a higher upside than what we've seen from him so far.
Yeah, I think the second half of the Dolphins game, he really started to get more quality targets, and I think they realized with Brown out too, but I think they realized that Bateman is kind of more of a alpha and more of the target share that needs a higher target share. So I've got him up in my about 20 this week. So I've got high expectations for Bateman.
And then have we heard, is Big Ben playing against the Chargers today?
I think so.
Let's see.
Because that could affect Firemouth.
He was officially activated.
Okay.
He's active.
Off the COVID list. Yep. So he'll be starting.
So
yeah,
one of my go-to returns for this week would be Nick Chubb against the Detroit Lions. Where do you have him ranked at, Logan?
I've got Nick Chubb as a top 3 option, even in PPR this week. With Kareem Hunt still out, I think last time Dearness Johnson still only got a few carries. He happened to bust a touchdown on like 4 carries or something like that. So I see 20, 25 plus carries and Chubb busting at least one big long run. Top 3 option for me, top 5 for sure.
You don't think that they wean him back in, being this is his first game back?
I think he was just out with COVID, so it's not like he had like an injury or anything.
Yeah.
And he did miss two games because of it. So I think that last game would have been that if he played, you kind of had to be cautious. But I think the full like 2 weeks off is sufficient for him, and I think he'll be returned to full strength pretty solid.
It's going to be interesting to see how they use Demetric Felton in that 3-way back, just because we don't know if Nick Chubb is fully healthy yet or not until he gets out in the field. So right. Do you think that takes away from any of his carries?
I think Dearness Johnson and Felton will get a few carries. I think they'll kind of try to incorporate Felton into a little bit of passing game some too, since they don't really have a receiver. I don't even know if Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to play, so they don't have anyone. I think Felton might end up playing more receiver than anything. So it'll probably be more of a 2-headed backfield with Dearness Johnson. And I think as long as Chubb comes out and they say he looks good in pregame and like full strength, he's going to be a definitely top option for me, with Dearness being a low-end flex play, kind of plug and play injury kind of guy. So.
And then sticking with the Browns, do you think they start targeting Jarvis Landry more starting this week after he spoke up saying he's not getting enough touches?
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd hope so. You'd think so.
I need him to. I got a couple of leagues that he's my wide receiver too, and I need some help.
Yeah, that's not a reliable wide receiver too right now, just because he's
No.
None of the wide receivers in Cleveland are getting the ball that much.
Yeah.
So we got a question from Marco. He said, "Good morning. Who should I put in my flex? Hawkinson, Cobb, Marcus Johnson, half PPR."
Hawkinson scares me with Boyle. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. Not sure if Boyle can even find Hawkinson, and if he can, Boyle's not good. I think I would bench Hawk this week. I might go Cobb with Rodgers being hurt. What is it? His toe. I might go Cobb here. I think Rodgers is going to look for quick passes, short yardage, and that's Cobb's world.
Yeah, I think I still had Hawkinson up pretty high until the Goff news, and Tim Boyle, like you said, Tim Boyle's just not good, like at all. I think Cobb's your safest play there as well, for sure. Not much upside, to be honest, with all three of those. So I think Cobb's your safe play.
And from reports, it's sounding like this is a toe injury that will be lingering all season. So Cobb might be the receiver to pick up for long term too, if that's the case.
Yeah, it definitely. If it's a lingering injury, it's going to increase Cobb's value rest of season for sure.
PJ Ruth is asking, lots of injuries, PPR, Claypool or someone like Agnew, Traquan Smith, Dante Harris, or Cobb from waivers?
I think you can still go Claypool there as long as he's healthy. Agnew's not a bad play. He's been getting plenty of targets. I like Deontay Harris in New Orleans better than Traquan Smith. And like we were just saying, Cobb might have an increased role going forward. But I think I'm going Claypool there still as long as he's fully healthy.
Being an owner of Claypool in a couple of leagues, I feel like I would go Cobb just because I've been so disappointed by Claypool. But I don't fault anyone for starting Claypool over that group of receivers and running back.
Yeah, Skinny, I'm actually with you. I had Claypool. I drafted Claypool, but I just dropped him about a week or two ago just because he was not putting up numbers that I thought he would be putting up, and he just wasn't coming off my bench. So I got lucky, and I ended up getting Bateman, and I think he's going to be the go-to guy in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah. PJ agrees Claypool has sucked a little bit. So, and I was telling Skinny, if you're not in Cleveland, I don't care about you. And Claypool is the kind of guy that keeps talking crap about the Browns. So I had to drop him. Any update injuries on to Jonathan Greenard and Jamal Adams?
So Adams, hold on, let me pull up my notes on this one.
Greenard is out.
Is he out?
Yeah.
Did that come through already?
Yeah, ruled out. Last night.
Okay, I missed that. That sucks. I got him starting in a couple of leagues. I got to remember to bench him.
Yeah.
Adams, honestly, even if he plays, I would seriously consider just avoiding him. I don't think that he's been paying off very well this year for you. If you've got another option, I would go that route anyways. Oh, he did get ruled out. Okay. I missed that on Greener.
So Jason's back, and he wants to know, it's a full PPR league. He needs to pick one, Renfro, Tooney, or Mooney.
Mooney's got some appeal with A-Rob being most likely out. might get a super heavy target share, but I think I like Renfrow a lot. He's been getting targets. He's been getting targets in the red zone. He's always on the field for sure. He's my play there. I like Renfrow a lot.
Yeah, I think he's probably the safest play of those three. If you need upside this week, I would probably go Mooney and hope for the best. But if you want a safe pick, it's Renfrow.
So I just realized I started mixing Tony and Mooney together. So I got Tooney and Mooney. So I meant Tony and Mooney.
I was going to let that one slide.
So Marco says, thanks for the help. You're very welcome. If you have any more questions, feel free to throw those in the comments, and we want to help you guys get another W today.
Yep, it's crunch time.
It is. It's coming down to, is it time for you to make the playoffs, or are you going to miss it? So Marcos is saying, what's up, guys? Herbert or Burrow today? Also, the Dolphins or Titans D?
I've actually got Burrow ranked a few spots higher than Herbert. I really like Herbert, but I think he's got Pittsburgh tonight, right?
Yeah, he's got Pittsburgh tonight.
Not the easiest matchup in the world. They haven't been the defense they have have the name of, but they I like Burrow today a lot against the Raiders. I think he's going to tear them up.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. Dolphins or Titans defense? I think probably the Dolphins. The Texans have what's his nuts back? Tyrod. So he's definitely an improvement. I'd probably go the Dolphins there. I'm actually starting the Dolphins in a couple of leagues, so
yeah,
I'll be rooting for him with you.
I think I agree with the Dolphins defense there. They've been playing pretty well, and they've also got a great matchup. So
yeah.
So Patterson's always been a strong topic the past few weeks, and he's hurt and missed Thursday's game. Do you think that affects his next week's performance?
No, I don't think it does. I mean, it was an ankle on a short week. So now he's basically going to have 2 weeks of rest time. So he should be back to full strength.
Yeah, as long as he returns to full strength, I look for him to return to a top 12 running back option, as he was.
All right. Are there any matchups you guys are looking forward to? I guarantee Logan's looking at his own KC Dallas matchup. Are they going to be able to stop Dak?
Amari Cooper being out, makes a difference for him for sure. It's not like he was lighting up the world, but him being out there, like we saw with the Rams losing Robert Woods, they just look kind of lost. I don't think it'll quite be that to that extent with the Cowboys, but I think there'll be some plays where Dak's definitely looking for someone like Cooper, and CeeDee's covered, and he's not going to be able to get the ball off or something, or have to throw it away. But most likely going to be a high scoring game for sure. I really don't think the Chiefs are going to stop the Cowboys, but I think Mahomes is going to have to keep his eye on Parsons for sure. And when he evades the pocket and stuff, because Parsons is fast, so he'll run Mahomes. Usually Mahomes gets away with, pulling some quick little move or something, but Parsons is going to get him if he tries anything like that. But yeah, I'm beyond excited. I really want this game for the Chiefs, obviously, but I'm super pumped to watch that one.
How about you, Skinny?
Well, being that I'm a Cowboys fan, clearly I'm hoping the Cowboys fans are going to do well. I should have waited for you to finish that drink. I'm sorry.
You're good.
I don't think Cooper hurts us a whole lot. I mean, he is kind of a safety net for Dak, but his target share is so up and down. And he's got Gallup back now. We've got two really good tight ends. You've got Zeke and Pollard there to kind of fill that gap. So as much as it hurts me as a fantasy owner of Cooper, I don't think it hurts real NFL Cowboys not having Cooper out there. Dak's just got so many weapons to throw to and pivot to. So I think this is one of those few games that's actually going to be what we expect, where there's lots of points scored. Kansas City's defense is not exactly lighting the world on fire. the Cowboys defense is beatable. I know we've been doing well, but I don't think we're as strong as we've showed lately. So
I look for someone like Michael Gallup to have a good game in this.
Oh, for sure.
Because the Chiefs' top corners have been pretty lights out. So if we get, if CD gets shadowed by one of the top corners, I would look for Gallup to really thrive today.
Have you seen, because I haven't, is Snead going to play? I know he's been real limited at practice.
I haven't heard that he is not.
Okay.
All right. We got a question from Daffy. He's asking, need two wide receivers and a flex pick. So he needs 3 total, and it's Thielen, Brandon Cooks, Jalen Waddle, Gaskin, and Josh Jacobs.
Wide receivers and
So 2 receivers and a flex.
I like Waddle. I think I would throw him he'd probably be my flex option there.
I'd go Waddle and Cooks probably as receivers, and then I've got if you don't want to play Gaskin, I understand, but it's an odd week, and he's really been it's crazy, but he's been nothing on even weeks, and he's been great on odd weeks, and he does have a great matchup. I do have him at 18 and Josh Jacobs at 19 today.
No love for Thielen at all there, going against the Packers.
I like him there. I've got him a few spots lower than I've got Waddle at 19, Cooks at 22, and Thielen at 26. So like a low end too. He's just a few spots behind him. I just like the volume and the matchups for Gaskin and Josh Jacobs a little more than Thielen.
Okay.
But those are all great play. I would go Cooks and Waddle for sure as receivers, and then any of those other 3 are totally fine options for the flex.
Yeah, I mean, Cooks, Waddle. I'd go Jacobs over Gaskin if you're debating those 2. I know you're saying odd weeks he's been balling out, but my distrust of 2 Miami Dolphins players in your lineup, I don't know. That would scare the crap out of me.
I agree. Yep, I completely didn't think about that. If you're playing Waddle wide receiver, I'd fade off of Gaskin and go Josh Jacobs. I've got them side by side in the rankings, so that's a good point. I don't like to double up, especially on an offense that's not the greatest.
And then sticking with the Dolphins, what are your thoughts on Tua against Houston?
I think he's a good stream if he's out there on your waivers, or if you're missing like Stafford on bye this week. I think he's totally a pretty good play.
Yeah, this should be a good week for him.
I mean, he's proven that he can put up the points. What was it? Last week he came in halfway through the game and still put up 12 fantasy points. So I think he's definitely a start to this week and maybe moving forward, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's starting to finally get comfortable being on the field. And seeing the reads, because last year it was not a good season for him. He was in and out of the games. He couldn't really get comfortable, find a rhythm. He missed, let's see, what does he miss? 1, 2, 3, 4 games this year. So yeah, I New Jersey, Carolina, the Giants, week 14 bye, the Jets week 15. Yeah, he could be a good start the rest of the year for sure.
So we got a question from Marco again. Which 2 linebackers should I start? Landry, Wilson, Chandler Jones, or Littleton?
Landry, is he? I thought they tagged him out. Tennessee.
Yeah, if they've got Landry out, I think I'm going to go.
No, he's in. He's in. That was the other 2, Dupree and Evans, that are out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd go Landry.
You said 2. I think I'm going to go Logan Wilson. And then I do have Littleton a few spots higher than Landry, but they're in the same tier and pretty close. But I would go Littleton. I think I have Littleton there.
I'm Landry or Littleton, so I think Chandler Jones is off your board at this point. Especially if you're looking at linebackers versus a defensive lineman or outside linebacker, however you want to classify him.
So a Facebook user is asking Zach Ertz or Dan Arnold.
I think if Kyler doesn't go, and I guess it kind of depends on Kyler. What time does the Jags play at noon? I think I'm going to go ahead and go safe with the Dan Arnold targets, just avoiding the quarterback situation in Arizona right now, just this week. Because Cole's also questionable.
See, I'm going to go Ertz on this one. I'm going to trust in the backup quarterback targeting the tight end.
And DeAndre Hopkins is ruled out, correct?
Yeah, he's out.
So Ertz could definitely be getting more looks his way because of that injury. Pick 2 linebackers: Wagner, Kendricks, Perriman, or Devin White.
Embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, I've got Devin White at 2, Wagner at 4, Kendricks at 6, and Perriman at 7. So Perriman, I guess, Kendricks and Perriman would be the odd ones out there, which I hate. I would hate sitting them in any week. But yeah, I've got White and Wagner the highest.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
I want to know how you got all 4 of those guys. That's pretty impressive. Well, last week I think it was who was that? Marcos
asking about 3 RB1s.
Yeah, he had Dearness Johnson, Patterson, and
like Eckler and Swift or something like that.
Yeah, or Jonathan Taylor.
Those are the hardest decisions too. You think it'd be so easy.
Yeah, but Marcos, we got.
Oh, and you have a Luacon?
Because we told him to start Patterson, and he scored 4 points. So Marcos, we are very sorry about that. Facebook user is also saying he also has a Luke. I'm not even going to try to say that.
A Luacon? Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got him as an 11. So those are all top 12 options for me.
Wow.
Jeez.
Hey, well, congrats, man. You got a stacked linebacker.
Might want to trade one or 2 of those guys if you can. Simplify your weekly starts.
All right. Brad is asking, off topic, who are some of the lower roster IDP players you've been targeting for your practice squad in IDP Dynasty Leagues? Guys that don't have value now but may in 2022.
So there's one that jumps out to me right away. Monty Rice. He got a start last week. I've got him on a couple of my taxi squads. He got a start last week with Evans and Dupree being out, and he went off. He's got another start this week with those guys being out again. So I don't know if he's really that lower rostered, off the radar guy that you're looking at, but if he's out there, he's definitely one to target.
There's a few guys that kind of came on already. The Raiders defensive back, Morig. I liked him initially, and he started playing, and he's a good long-term dynasty play. I also there's not a ton of buzz around someone like Andre Sisco, the Jags defensive back. He went early in the draft, like the 3rd round, and I really liked him out of college. He's someone who I keep an eye on because there's not much competition there for some reason, or at some point he should be able to start probably next year. And I really like his style of play. And then both of I'm sure they're rostered. I say if you can get Willie Gay or Bolton before they really start and take over off the Chiefs, they're probably a little lower valued at least maybe than they should be in Dynasty maybe. So they'd be 2 people I'd target because we, as the Chiefs, they kind of start off slow as rookies, but they'll come into their own and they'll really thrive in a good system. So,
yeah. Don't forget about some of those higher drafted rookies that got hurt and are out for the season, like Osai. You might be able to get them a little cheaper just because people are frustrated.
Shauna is asking, Herbert or Brady? And good morning, Shauna. Oh.
I've got Brady 2 spots higher. It's 7 for Brady and Herbert at 9. Giants got some good defensive backs, but I still think Brady's got the weapons and they've got the passing volume and stuff for sure. So that's a good problem to have though. So
yeah. I might, even though I don't really trust Herbert a whole lot, I might throw him out over Brady. The defensive backs in New York are good. McKinney's starting to come on. He's getting a lot of playing time. I could see him picking Brady a couple of times and really hurting his value.
But also Brady, think he has a big bounce back game after last week. He's not the kind of guy that goes out and throws 2 duds of a game. Herbert, I would have a hard time starting him against Pittsburgh right now, just because their defense is just rolling.
Well,
other than last week when they had to couldn't even beat Detroit. But
TJ Watt is out this week, so I don't know how that changes your feelings. Hayden is also out,
and I think Minkah Fitzpatrick is also out.
Yeah, he's on COVID.
I'm going Herbert then.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah, that takes away from the most, the 2 biggest threats in the secondary and by far the biggest rush threat. Yeah, I might go Herbert now that we get that news in here. I think I'm going to go Herbert there without. That's like the 3 best defensive players that would affect Herbert directly the most. So
yeah, and their offense is very explosive.
Yeah,
I know we're jumping backwards, but does that change your feeling Burrow versus Herbert?
Not necessarily, because I've got Burrow up at 5 this week. I just see him I see a huge game there. The Raiders defense isn't great. Mahomes just tore him up, and Burrow's got a wealth of options there. So
okay.
Malcolm's asking, pick one: Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Alex Collins, or Rashard Penny.
I'm going Collins this week just to wait. He got cleared of injury designation, I'm pretty sure. He should get the bulk of the carries. I'm going to wait a week on CEH. I still think Darrell Williams will kind of lead a little bit, if not 50-50, but I don't see Clyde taking a huge workload this week. I think I'm going to roll Collins out.
Yeah, it's probably Collins, but I don't think you feel good rolling Collins or CEH out there. I don't think Penny's even an option at this point.
So I did see a tweet that CEH owners are saying it's time for Clyde Edwards-Helaire to get 16 touches for 41 yards again.
Feels right.
And then Malcolm is also asking Gronk, Freiermuth, or CJ Uzma.
I think it's Freiermuth if Roethlisberger's playing, like we said earlier.
Yeah, I agree. I've got Freiermuth there. I'm going to wait one more week on Gronk because he might be still kind of a limited role, and he likes to go out there and get hurt again and during the game. So if you get a good week out of Gronk, he jumps back into your top 10 options again next week. Yep. For now, Freiermuth with Roethlisberger for sure.
Scott is asking, one linebacker, JOK, Littleton, or Miles Jack? I'm going Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah on this one, just because Detroit's one probably rely on the run more, and he's flying around the field.
Yeah, he is the upside play, isn't he?
Yeah, I think they tried to ease him back in last week, and he didn't get a ton of snaps. But even on a limited snap share of like 20 snaps, he still had 4 tackles. So, and like Grant said, they're going to have to rely on the ground game and probably lots of screens and short game. So that's your ceiling play. But Miles Jack has always been good, and I think they're playing San Francisco. San Francisco likes to run, so he should have a healthy dosage of or volume there.
So Jack's probably the safest floor option. JOK is high upside, and Littleton. Are we pushing him aside out of those 3?
Yeah, just he's similar to. I mean, I would put him similar to Jack. He's just not performing the way you'd want him to. He's a little behind Jack for me, though.
Lionel Jackson's asking. He needs 3. Baker, Hill, Milano, Crowder, or David.
Is that Buddha or Jerome Baker?
I'm assuming linebackers, so Jerome.
Okay. Need 3 out of that. So we're benching probably Kamu Hill, I think. Tremaine Edmonds is out this week, so that should help Milano a hair, even though A.J. Klein's been pretty good. Jerome Baker's been pretty consistent. You know what Levante David is. Crowder has been pretty decent as well. I think he's the lowest floor option there, but I think Kamu's really boom bust in this week.
Yeah, I think I'm sitting Kamu Hill for sure, and then I think Crowder would be my next sit, just by a tad.
Yeah.
David for sure, and then with Edmonds out, Milano for sure. I'll take Baker over Crowder.
If for some reason that is the safety Baker, I would sit him with the injury issues. He
just commented and said it's Jerome.
It is Jerome. Okay.
Yep, then Jerome for sure.
He's also asking. Logan Ryan's out with COVID. Play Love at cornerback slot.
Who are your other options?
Lionel, if you could get back with your other options at your cornerback position, we can definitely answer that question for you.
With Ryan out, Love is not a terrible play, especially playing Tampa Bay. They like to throw.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be curious what else you got there.
Brady definitely will target the second and third string guys.
So PJ's asking a defense and special teams question: Titans versus Texans or Bears versus Ravens with Jackson out?
So Mac and Danny Trevathan are on IR. I don't think I would play the Bears right now until we see what they look like without those two.
Oh, yep, and they just ruled Lamar Jackson out. So,
and it kind of seems as if the Titans are starting to figure out their defense, and it's the Texans. So I'm playing the Titans. Just even with Tyrod playing, I just don't think they have the firepower to really score that much.
And you're more than likely probably looking at a Titans defensive touchdown. They really have been lights out and on the ball. So yeah, I'm going.
Go ahead.
I'm going Titans. Yep.
Yeah.
Scott Temple's asking: need a quarterback, Tua, Newton, or CJ? I'm going Tua here, just because of their matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't fault you for starting Newton and hoping that there's some serious upside there. But I like Tua as well. I'd probably go Tua and play it safer.
Yeah, I think Tua is a little bit safer play with a good matchup. I've got him at 14 and 15. Tua Cam. So high end QB2s. Tua is your safe play there. Cam Newton, if for some reason, if you want some 3 to 4 touchdown rushing upside where they get in that red zone left and right and he keeps sneaking it in. But Tua is your safe play.
So with Jackson being ruled out, does this affect Mark Andrews and Bateman?
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
Probably. It probably gives a bump to Andrews, I would think, and a downgrade to Bateman.
I would think the same. It's like we've been saying, the backup quarterbacks targeting the tight ends. So Andrews should get the benefit out of that, and it'll hurt Bateman a little bit.
Where are we at on Latavius Murray now? Right? Is he playing this week?
I think so.
So are we downgrading Murray further down than he already was?
I think they'll probably stay. I didn't have him super high either way, him and Freeman. So Freeman a little bit higher, but they should see a little bit more volume, but it definitely hurts their efficiency with, Jackson being out. But I think Huntley can run a little bit. They might try to mimic that a little bit. So yeah, I keep them in the, low end flex plays already. So not too much either way.
So I just got an ESPN notification. Donovan Peoples-Jones is out against the Lions this week. So if you have him in your starting lineups, time to get him out of there.
Jarvis Landry time.
Yes, this could mean more targets for Landry at this point, and moves Felton out to the wide receiver spot. So I think Nick Chubb's now a safer start if you're questioning it for whatever reason. Lionel got back to me. His cornerback choice or options are Levi Wallace, Brian Hall, James Pierre, or Justin Love.
Probably Justin Love, because again, he's going against Brady, and Brady's good about targeting the weakest option. Levi Wallace is up there too. I wouldn't fault you for starting Levi Wallace against Carson Wentz. He's pretty good at throwing picks. So I think maybe Levi Wallace is a higher upside. Justin Love is probably going to give you the better floor.
Yeah, Levi Wallace has actually had 3 good weeks in a row. I think I'm playing him. James Pierre is an interesting play with all of the with Hayden and Minkah Fitzpatrick out in Pittsburgh. He'll probably get plenty of playing time, but I think Levi Wallace has been playing well, and like Will said here, Wentz is a good chance to throw a pick there, so he could benefit out of that a little bit.
So Marco is back. Should I drop Chandler Jones to get Van Der Esch or JOK in a dynasty league?
Is this the same league where you've got Landry, Wilson, and Littleton? If it is, I would probably drop him to grab JOK.
I would get JOK in a dynasty league. Yeah. I'd be grabbing him in dynasty.
Yeah. I just feel like there's a bunch of upside for JOK in the future. Joe Lopez is asking Dawson or Zach Ertz?
Ertz.
I think I'm going back with Knox because we saw what he was doing before he had his finger injury or his finger surgery and missed like 2 or 3 weeks. He had his week back already. I would have been weary about last week coming back, but he's had that get it under his belt game. So I see a good return to action and red zone targets for him.
And then Marcos answers your question, Skinny, and says, yes, that is the same league.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Smokey the Cat is asking the pick 2, Bateman, Gallup, or Deontay Foreman. Lamar is ruled out. I think Deontay Foreman's a sneaky pick just because I think he's going to start getting more touches because Adrian Peterson is a little too old.
Yeah, I think Foreman's going to get a good workload. I think I'm playing him there. And then picking between Bateman and Gallup. Like I said, I had Bateman a little higher, but with Lamar ruled out, it puts Gallup and him both right at the end of my wide receiver 2s, like high wide receiver 3s with upside. Gallup. I think I'm going Gallup now that Lamar's out. It's a little safer. I still like Bateman as a play, but if you got an option like Gallup today, I think there.
Yeah. I want a piece of that Cowboys-Chiefs game. Give me Gallup and Foreman.
So I have a personal question based off this question. Would you take Deontay Foreman at the flex over Bateman now that Lamar's out?
Yeah, if you need a floor play or a safe play for sure.
I don't think I would, mostly because we haven't seen Foreman with a real workload. I know he's been coming back from that Achilles injury that was 2 years ago now, and he hasn't really been able to break through yet. I I think I would still throw Bateman in the flex. Bateman's talented. He just needs to catch a couple targets, and he could break something big.
Yeah, the upside's always there for Bateman. But I think I've just got Foreman pretty high this week based on his matchup.
Yeah.
I think he'll be their offense will be moving, and he'll be a good beneficiary of that. So
Chad Gordon's asking Cowboys, Raiders, Seahawks for defense.
Not the Cowboys.
Yeah,
of course, the Chiefs guy.
I'd be a little leery just because Kansas City's due for a big game, and when's that coming in the next 6 weeks?
I wouldn't fault you for starting the Cowboys. This is coming from the Cowboys fan here. Trayvon Diggs, he's going to get a pick somewhere. The Mahomes last season, and I haven't really looked into it this year. Last year, Mahomes was the number 1 rated quarterback for causing his own sacks, holding onto the ball too long. The Cowboys, Parsons going to get some snaps at the end. He's probably about as quick as Mahomes. If your league is going to score a bunch of points for impact plays like that, I would consider the Cowboys. If you're going to lose a bunch of points for points scored, I would not play the Cowboys.
I like the matchup between Seattle and Arizona if Kyler's not playing.
With Seattle at home, I think that's the play. Unless big impact plays are big points, I do think the Cowboys will have sacks and picks. But points scored should be high. But I like the Seahawks at home against Arizona without Kyler.
I think the Raiders will be picked apart by Joe Burrow.
For sure.
I don't even think they're an option any other week with those other two teams that he listed. So, I'm going to go with Seattle on this one.
I agree.
So, are you expecting any big or if you had to guess, who's going to have the biggest day in fantasy football as far as points wise? Who's your bold prediction?
I've got Mahomes and Dak as my 1 and 2 this week at quarterback. So I do have them all the way up there. Tyreek and CD. Tyreek's 1 and CD is 5. So they're both top. I just anyone in that game I see scoring a lot of points. But I see AJ Brown bouncing back against Houston and having a big game and being a wide receiver 1 this week.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to say bold prediction, Cam Newton's QB1 on the week. No Chase Young. That defense has underperformed. It's not really a revenge game for Cam, but it's his coming back party. It's his chance to show everybody that they've been wrong. Cam, that's his thing, is trying to prove people wrong. He's got probably the best offense he's played with since he left Carolina. So I'm going to throw him as QB1 this week. That's my bold prediction.
So do you think those 2 touchdowns that he had last week, 1 throwing, 1 running, do you think they'll have any impact on how he plays today?
I think he'll get at least probably a rushing and a passing touchdown again in similar fashion. He came in just for those plays, but if he's out there driving, I think, like Will said, they'll get more opportunities to get into the red zone, and will give them a lot more upside, that offense.
And then who do you guys think are the big bust for today or this week?
Can I say Cam Newton again?
Oh, man. I would have said Mike Davis on Thursday. Even with Patterson out, I would have still been against him big time and any of the running backs there.
But it seemed like Allison had a pretty good day. I didn't see what he ended up with.
Yeah, he seemed to get a good amount of touches, but I don't think he really had a ton of fantasy points or anything. But the thing is, you were looking at Davis and or Gallman, so you're like nobody had Allison on their radar,
Yeah.
So, a big bust of the week.
Chris Godwin. I'll throw Chris Godwin out there.
God, I hope not.
That team is so hit or miss on who's getting the targets, who gets the touchdown. So I'm gonna throw my eggs in the Chris Godwin basket.
But AB's not there back, correct?
Correct.
So he's still probably going to be the number one target, or close number two with Mike Evans.
I don't have a ton of buzz. If I go back to the higher like bold predictions, I do have Corey Davis as a top 20 wide receiver, or as 21 in my, with Flacco flinging the ball there and them most likely probably trailing the Dolphins. I got Corey Davis up real high this week. I got high expectations for him. And then Jeff Wilson with Elijah Mitchell being most likely not going to play. Shanahan does not like to play Sermon. Wilson could be looking at 25 carries or more, which puts him in the top 10 running back range. Most people probably have him almost that high, but I've seen him in like about 20-ish, in like high teens. But I'd be comfortable considering him as a top 10 option.
You think Flacco can generate enough offense to provide Corey Davis as top 24 wide receiver?
It's more little faith in Corey Davis, to be honest. I do like Corey Davis as a player, but with Flacco there, I think he does have that veteran presence where he won't maybe collapse as much as Mike White threw in 5 interceptions and Zach Wilson struggling so much. Corey Davis was able to go 5 for 93 last week still. So if he picks up a touchdown on that, it puts him in that range. So I see a similar, he's been getting 7 targets every week. So give him 5 catches, about 80 to 100. And then if he gets that touchdown, which I think Flacco helps that chance there.
Okay. So we got about 7 minutes to go in this live stream. If you have any questions, throw them down. We'll try to get them answered before noon here. But let's just go through the matchups here, and let's talk about maybe a matchup that you're excited to see, or players that you should see start or sit. So the first one we got is Indianapolis and Buffalo, and I'm excited to see if Stephon Diggs has another day like he did last week. Can he continue that?
Yeah, I think he will. I think they've kind of got back in their groove, and Diggs should get back to where he was last year. I temper expectations for Pittman a little bit. He is a beast, but Buffalo's defense is tough, especially their secondary. So he's still in a wide receiver 2 for me, but he went from the high end wide receiver 2s down towards the middle bottom of them in the teens for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think Diggs is probably back. Is this going to be a Samuels or a Beasley week? What do we think?
Yeah.
I've got Sanders 29 and Beasley at 31. So, I mean, it's hard to guess. I always kind of put them together in the low or as wide receiver 3s. I think Sanders has a little more upside usually, though.
So Drew's Ducks is asking, any concerns about A-Rod with his toe and COVID issues? Is Tua an option? I think Tua is an absolute option this week.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're worried about Rodgers, Tua is an absolutely good pivot. But I think Aaron Rodgers playing against Minnesota, I don't think he's going to let the toe hold him back too much in a game like that, where he's going to want to beat the Vikings. So I still think Rodgers is fine, but Tua, if you're any type of worried, Tua is a totally good option.
The next matchup we're going to look at is Baltimore-Chicago. And, of course, we've already talked about Bateman and Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see what Justin Fields is going to do against the Baltimore's defense.
Yeah, I had an option to stream in one of my redraft home leagues. I had Cam Newton, Mac Jones, or Justin Fields as the options, and I am nervous for Fields a little bit. I went ahead and went with Newton there, but I'd temper expectations for that offense. Baltimore's defense is playing pretty well.
Yeah, with no Allen Robinson out there, he hasn't been good for fantasy purposes, but he's been getting the number 1 cornerback on him. So that really hurts all the pass catching options. Everything goes downhill from there. So I'd be worried.
Drew responds and says, "Thanks, guys. Keep up the great work." Scott is asking flex. He needs one. K. Raymond or Ty Johnson or David Johnson.
I think you could have left David Johnson off the list.
I'm worried about any pass catching options in Detroit completely. I think you got to go with Ty Johnson. He's been playing and putting up a little bit of points and being relatively productive. I don't like David Johnson as a fantasy play right now.
I had low hopes for David Johnson coming into the year, and he somehow came in below those hopes. I think Ty Johnson is probably your best bet there.
The next matchup is Detroit-Cleveland. I'm interested to see how many more sacks Myles Garrett can get if Detroit decides that they're going to try to throw the ball.
Yeah, not a lot of fantasy options there, but Garrett should be a great play.
Clowney might even get one of his nice impact plays this week.
Yeah. We got Houston and Tennessee. I'm interested to see Foreman here.
Yeah, what kind of workload and how he does.
Yeah, for sure.
Green Bay, Minnesota. Oof.
I'm playing everyone there. Everyone on the Vikings offense you got, and like we were saying earlier, Cobb might be a sneaky play. Obviously, Devontae Adams and A.J. Dillon with Aaron Jones out. I've got A.J. Dillon in my top 10 this week too, against a kind of a weak Vikings run defense.
Maybe gets a higher workload too with what Rodgers is dealing with right now.
We got Miami, New York, the Jets. Obviously Tua, I think is a start here. The Jets, it's tough. I mean, I would stay away from anybody on the Jets still.
I'd play Michael Carter if you got him, if you need like a flex.
Yep.
He's still a solid play for me, but yeah, and like I said earlier, I've got Corey Davis up pretty high. I've got real high hopes for him this week, so he's a big sleeper for me here.
If you're in a defensive tackle specifically, you might want to look at Christian Wilkins. Flacco is not very mobile, so he's got a good opportunity to get you a sack and maybe a few decent tackles there.
All right, Brad said, appreciate the help, guys. Good luck and have a great Thanksgiving. You too,
happy
Brad.
Thanksgiving.
Have a great one. We got New Orleans and Philadelphia.
I'm excited to see what happens with Miles Sanders coming back. I think most people probably are. They said they were going to run more, and then he got hurt, and then they ran the ball almost 40 sometimes a game 3 weeks in a row without him. So hopefully that workload. He might not get it this week coming back, but hopefully we see some kind of preview of that.
And then Carolina, Washington.
It's going to be a good game.
I mean, I'm excited to just watch Cam Newton come out.
Yeah.
Get his chance at the start again.
Yep. I'm ready to see if Cam can be back to Cam. You know, he's now 2 years from the injuries that got him out of Carolina. I know we haven't talked about Terry McLaurin this week, but I'm excited to see if he can do anything. You know, the Panthers do have a good defense, so.
Yeah. San Fran, Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think the Niners will probably roll over them. I'm curious to see if someone like Trey Sermon gets any touches and if it's just the Wilson show. And honestly, the Jaguars they've been better on defense lately, but they do allow big plays. And I can see, I'm curious if Ayuk is able to do a little something more with his slowly increasing target share and playing time.
Yeah. We got a couple questions here. before we wrap up the show. Dean is asking Darrell Williams, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or Jamal Williams in the half PPR league.
I think I'm still going Darrell.
Yeah.
And then PJ's back, and he's saying 2 linebackers, Klein, K. White, or Rice.
With Edmonds out, you definitely want to throw AJ Klein out there, and then Monty Rice too, because other Evans, Rashawn Evans, Tremaine Edmonds, AJ Klein, and then Rashawn Evans and Bud Dupree are out, so Monty Rice again.
Well, I think this is a good point to wrap this up. Skinny, where can they find you at on social, or what articles can they read for more of your insight?
You can find me on Twitter at @FF_SkinnyChef, and you can find me on the IDP Guys website. I do the weekly IDP injury article, so you can find me there. I post links to that on the Twitter as often as I update it. So,
Logan, how about you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at SportsTalkSmart. On IDP Guys, all the rankings list, you'll see my weekly rankings, and then I've got every format of Dynasty and redraft rankings, and then in the subscriber chat as well. Hit me up in there, or just message me on Twitter, anything like that.
Yeah, and this is a good time to bring up IDP Guys are running a special from now till the end of football season where it's $9.99 and you get full access to our website, and you can read paywall articles, and then also pick these guys' brain in our subscriber chat. So, but you can find me on Twitter at Grant Gillen, Grant_Gillen. Not doing too much fantasy football tweeting, but do live tweet the Browns games. Still on the Fire Joe Woods bandwagon. So, with that being said, good luck to everybody this week, and have a great Thanksgiving.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck, guys. Go Cowboys.
Go Chiefs.
See ya.